Hi guys, my name is Trinh and today I'm here to do my December wrap up. First of all, I just want to say Happy New Year. I believe this is the very first video of 2021, so I never got a chance to say it on my channel, so Happy New Year. I hope you guys had an amazing day on New Year's Day, obviously, which was last Friday, I believe. I actually had a pretty great reading month. I believe I read 14 books in December. I DNF'd 2 books last month, which is really crazy because if you know me, I never ever DNF books, but in 2020 I have learned that it's actually okay to not finish a book that you just don't want to read anymore. I DNF'd 2 books and I'll talk about them in this video obviously and why I just did not want to finish those books anymore. But yeah, let's get started. The first book that I finished in December is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. There are some trigger warnings for this book: anxiety, car accident, death of loved one. The main character has OCD. Oh yeah, real quick, the main character, her name is Ava, if I'm correct. Aza. Oh my god, Aza. Her name is Aza and she has OCD, she has anxiety. This book definitely focuses on her mental health because that is actually very important. I believe this is an own voices novel because John Green has OCD and I've heard amazing things about this book regarding the anxiety rep because the writing feels so real. Besides that, basically there is this millionaire who has run away. The main character and her friend really want to find the guy because there is like a big reward. Basically, you know, they can get money if they found a millionaire, but it's very difficult because the millionaire is the dad of this guy friend of the main character. I will say regarding that plotline is so forgettable because I kid you not, throughout this entire novel I totally forgot that we were supposed to find this millionaire, okay? But anyway, let's talk about the best friend because man, I hate her. I believe her friend is Daisy. Is her name Daisy? Oh my god. Throughout this entire book, I was so annoyed at her best friend because man, she is literally the worst. I just hate the way she talks to the main character. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the main character is not the greatest friend. Like, she has admitted that. However, the best friend is not even a good friend. Every time she complains, I just want her to shut up. The romance is not my favorite. I didn't care. The part that really stands out to me is the main character and her anxiety, her OCD. I feel like I've learned so much, and like I said, this book is really raved about because the writing when it comes to her spiraling is just so realistic. The author really goes in depth with what the main character is thinking, and I've heard that her spiraling, her thought process is so relatable. But I feel like overall this is not my favorite book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I can definitely see why people love this book, but this book is not my favorite. Let's talk about my favorite book of December, which is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. There are some trigger warnings for this book: death of loved ones, anxiety, depression, and panic attack. Basically, this is an adult romance novel starring Danny and the love interest Zafir. Danny, the main character, she is looking for a friends with benefit partner, and then we have the love interest Zafir. He has like a crush on Danny and Danny likes him also, but like she's not looking for anything romantic because like that's not her thing. Basically, they have to pretend to date because there's this video of Zafir holding Danny up and it's like, you know, really cute and stuff, and that video has gone viral. The publicity is actually doing really well regarding Zafir's sports charity for kids, and he really needs the publicity. So yeah, that's why they pretend to date. And honestly, this book is so good. The main characters are amazing. I love Danny. I love Zafir. I think Zafir is probably my favorite character. I'm not gonna lie. He's just a softie, okay? I love the fact that when you look at him, you get really scared, but deep down, he's such an amazing guy. And then, of course, the sex scenes. Oh my god. The writing is so freaking good when it comes to these explicit sex scenes. Yeah, this book is amazing. I love it so much. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. If you have not read this book, highly recommend this book. It's so good. Like, I love it so much. The third book that I finished in December is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. There are some trigger warnings for this book: murder, bomb explosions, and animal cruelty. Basically, this book is about superheroes. There are 2 groups of people. We have the renegades and then we have the anarchists. The renegades are like the good guys, basically. The superheroes people and how they save other people is cute. And then we have the anarchists who are like, fuck the renegades. They're actually the minority, I want to say, because I believe there was like a whole battle. There was like a war. The Renegades won the battle. So as of right now, the Renegades is actually ruling the world and anarchists anarchists. Oh my god. They're trying to kill off the Renegades. Basically, the main character Nova, when she was so young, her parents were killed right in front of her. Her baby sister was also killed in like the other room. It was just so bad. Like at the beginning, there was just like a whole bunch of murder and I was like losing my shit because I did not expect this book to be so dark. But anyway, her family members are dead and she's like hoping that the Renegades, the good guys, are coming to save her because that's like their brand basically. However, the Renegades did not come to save Nova at all, and eventually she is taken by her uncle whose name is Ace. He is the leader of the anarchists and she is, you know, raised by him, so her opinions about the Renegades have changed. And then as she is, you know, a teenager in this book, I want to say she's like 16 or 17, she hates the Renegades and she really wants to bring them down. My biggest complaint when it comes to this book is that it's just so freaking long. Let me tell you exactly how many pages there are in this book because I was so mad when I was reading this because it's just so long. 552 pages. I feel like this book could have been pushed down to like 400 pages. As for the characters, I actually really like them. I like the other characters as well because there's just so much characters, but I'm glad that I got like the hang of them, you know, like I kind of remember their names. As for the romance, it's not my favorite in this book. I do hope that it will be much better in the second book. I'm not sure if I will continue with the series, but we'll talk more about that later. The action scenes are actually really good. Whenever you know, they happen, I just stop what I'm doing and, you know, listen to the audiobook because I listened to the audiobook for this book, so I think that's why I was able to finish the entire book. So, you know, that's a good thing. I don't know, the ending is just average in my opinion, and I think it bothered me so much is this book was so long, okay? It's just so long, so when I got to the ending, I was hoping for something amazing, but I didn't really get that. I mean, like, the last page is shocking, but still, overall, the ending is not my favorite. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. As for the second book, I'm not sure if I will read it. I'm just scared that this book, or like this series, will go downhill. However, the ratings for Arch Enemies is so high. Maybe I will continue with the series, but like I said, I'm not sure. If you have read Arch Enemies and you think it's like so freaking good, like way better than Renegades, please let me know because I would love to hear your opinions regarding the second book because I do want to continue with the series, but at the same time I'm so hesitant to do so because I don't want this series to disappoint me. Let's quickly talk about Christina Lauren. So I have read 2 of their books in December. This is called The Honey Dauntless and this is called In a Holidays. Let's quickly talk about this one. There are some trigger warnings for this book: cheating, abuse, gaslighting, and fire. Basically, there's like a scene where a house was on fire. I will say regarding the synopsis, it's actually quite hard to explain to you what this book is about because it's just so messy. Like literally, the one word I have to describe this book is messy. Basically, this book is about 2 main characters named Carrie and James. They are the assistants of the Trips. So real quick, the Trips, they're actually quite famous. They have like their own show on Netflix. They're, you know, coming out with a book about marriage. They have their own business. From the outsider's point of view, they seem like a very nice and loving couple. Plot twist, they hate each other. Carrie and James, of course, they know that the entire thing is fake. Their brand is very fake because the couple hate each other. It's actually really bad and very toxic. The husband, I forgot his name, Rusty I believe, he cheats on his wife a lot of times, and Melissa, she's very controlling, very annoying, and quite abusive to be honest because there's a lot of scenes where she would throw shit at her husband. Basically, there is this book tour where the couple, they have to go on the book tour and pretend like they love each other, but really they don't. And then of course the assistants, they have to go with the couple. They don't want to be with them, but they have to because it's part of their job. So here's the thing, when I saw the ratings on Goodreads, I was shocked because it's like a 3.5. That is so low considering the authors are Christina Lauren. So I was very hesitant when I read this book, but after finishing the entire thing, I loved it. It was so good and entertaining. It's so messy, obviously. Let's quickly talk about the 2 main characters, Carrie and James. I think they are wonderful. I feel really bad for Carrie, I will say, because she is used a lot. There's so much gaslighting between Carrie and her boss. Like her boss is actually the worst. The boss is the mom, okay? Like the wife, Melissa, she's actually the worst. I was rooting for Carrie because I know for a fact she deserves so much better than this couple. I think the romance between the 2 main characters is really cute because they're in this together. Like they kind of understand each other and you know what they have to do regarding their job. But yeah, at the end of the day, I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book, and yeah, I'm really glad that I read this book in December. The second book that I have read from the authors is In the Holidays. I feel like so many people people read this book in December because obviously it's like a Christmas book. Basically, this novel is about our main character whose name is Maylene, but we call her May. You know, everyone calls her May. She makes this big mistake with one of the people that she has known for a really long time. This very important cabin is being sold to someone else, and that's not a good thing because it's like, okay, the tradition has been broken in a way, you know? Next thing you know, she gets time traveled back to the day that she met, no, the beginning of the vacation basically. Oh my god, this book is actually really hard to explain, but basically this involves time traveling and Christmas. I will say it's not the best book. It's not the best. The whole time traveling part is fun until eventually it's just like, okay, this is a timeline that we're gonna stick to. I don't know, I feel like it could have been done better, but at the same time I don't read a lot of books regarding time traveling, so I'm not gonna say much. When it comes to the characters and the love interest, that part is weird. I feel like it's very insta-lovey when it comes to the love interest and the main character because immediately they just get together, and I don't know, it's weird considering the guy didn't even know that she has a thing for him for such a long time. Besides that, there are so many characters in this book, and I really wish that a lot of them get more attention. I will say the Christmassy vibe is really great. I really felt it in this novel because everyone is gathered together, everyone has known each other for like decades, and there are so many cute traditions. And yeah, I feel like this book is great regarding like the Christmassy vibe. Regarding the romance, it could have been done better in my opinion, so I give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. That's just me being generous because this should have gone like a 3 out of 5 stars, but I don't know, I don't feel like changing my ratings right now, so I'm just gonna say 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's time to talk about Tokyo Ghoul by Sui Ishida. I have read the last 5 volumes in December, so 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. In this world, ghouls exist and ghouls eat humans. Of course, the government has ghoul investigators and their job is to hunt down the ghouls and kill them. However, I do want to say that since we're following the main characters and a majority of them are ghouls, they're not happy with the ghoul investigators because they are very vicious, okay? Like, we have a lot of investigators who love killing people. The last 5 volumes were so good. I actually really enjoy a lot of them. There are so many trigger warnings for this entire series. You know, murder, decapitation, amputation, killing, death, animal murder / cruelty, violence, you get it. This series is very, very dark. The 10th one, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't remember what happened in this. Actually, yes I do, I remember. The fighting scenes are really, really good, so this volume is amazing. It's not my favorite, but this volume is actually really good, so I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Volume 11 is actually so freaking good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, I believe, because I really, really enjoy this volume. I think this was really violent. Yeah, this volume is so violent, so this one is also really good. Volume 12, as you can see, is not super violent. I feel like this is the one where we actually focus on the main characters and the other characters as well. There aren't a lot of fighting scenes in this one, so it's like a nice break before we get to like the last 2 volumes of the series. As you can see, 13 and 14. This volume is amazing. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Volume 13 is also amazing. Oh yeah, this one was really dark. This is probably one of my least favorites, I want to say. It's not amazing, but you know, it's still good, so I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The final volume, 14. Oh my god, finally we're at the end. This volume, oh my god, I just remember. This volume is the most violent volume. I have witnessed 5 people get amputated. I lost my shit, okay? Because if you don't know, amputation is literally one of my biggest fears. Seeing characters getting their legs chopped off, their arms chopped off, I lost my shit. And seeing 5 people go through that, it was a lot for me. I will say this is not really like the ending of the series because it's setting up for the next series. If you don't know, there is another series called Tokyo Ghoul Re. So that's why I was a bit frustrated because I really wanted this to be the final volume. I mean, it was, but at the same time it's not. It's setting up for another series. So I ended up giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars because it's actually really, really good. It's so violent. Oh my god. I really lost my shit throughout this entire novel. novel throughout this entire volume. But yeah, this is good. I don't know if I should continue with Tokyo Ghoul Re. Like, I'm still debating on continuing with the next series, but as of right now, when it comes to this volume, I have given it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. That is basically it for Tokyo Ghoul. I have finished the entire manga series and I don't know what to do with my life anymore. The first book that I did not finish in December is Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee. I'm so sad that I just gave up on this book because I actually lost interest. This book is about superheroes and the main character, she's Chinese and Vietnamese, and oh my god, the Vietnamese representation is so good. I got so sad when I was just like, yeah, I'm not loving this book anymore and I'm just gonna stop, to be honest, because I didn't touch this book for days, and when I finally continued reading this book, I didn't care and I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't feel like going back and rereading some parts, you know? That's about it, to be honest. I just lost interest in this book, and yeah, I'm just gonna donate this book or sell it on Depop. I don't know yet. Yes, I read another adult romance novel and it is called Hate to Want You by Alicia Ray. There are some trigger warnings for this book: depression, anxiety, panic attack, suicidal thoughts, emotional and psychological abuse. So here's the story. There's this wonderful album called Evermore by Taylor Swift. I think everyone should listen to it. Track 4, "'Tis the Damn Season." Chef's kiss, okay? The storytelling is so good. So whenever I listen to that song, I can just see this story being played out in my head, and I really wanted a romance novel just like this one. And my friend Emily was like, hey, you should check out Hate to Want You because it has the same vibe. It's not exactly the same as the song because the song is like a Christmas song. Hate to Want You is not a Christmas book. It's just like a regular romance novel. So it's not the same. However, it has like the same idea. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I will say it's similar enough where I actually enjoy this book. So basically this book is about these two main characters and how they have a long history. They dated for a little bit when they were like really young, and then they broke up, but then they started this friends with benefit kind of relationship for like a decade. In the beginning of this book, Livy has come back to her hometown for a little bit, and then of course she has this friends with benefit relationship with her ex-boyfriend. So it's like, you know, a lot. She and Nicholas kind of have to deal with their situation. It's like a whole mess, to be honest. It's been like 2 weeks and I don't remember what happened, which is so ridiculous. This book is so messy. That's all I have to say. Another messy book. The two main characters, I actually really like them, unlike the romance somewhat. I will say it's messy. At times I get frustrated because they're on and off so many times in this book. They're like hooking up and then next thing you know they get in a fight and then they get separated, and then of course they get back together and then they hook up and then next thing you know they're separated. I feel like it gets repeated so many times in this book, and it's to the point where it's just so predictable. The sex scenes are so good, guys. Oh my god, so good, so well written. But I think that's all I have to say about this book. I think I will continue with the series because I'm reading the books on Libby, and let's face it, the books are free, so of course I'm gonna continue with the series. If I happen to enjoy all 3 books, then I will definitely get my own copies. So with this book, I really enjoy it. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was messy, but at the same time it's fun, it's entertaining, and there's a lot of layers when it comes to this book, and I kind of appreciate that because we deal with like past trauma, we deal with mental health. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. In December, I have started a new series, and it is the Legend series by Marie Lu. I read Legend and Prodigy, and honestly after finishing the first book, I was like, I need to continue with the series because I'm so curious. So immediately I started Prodigy and finished it within like a couple of days. I did finish Champion literally yesterday, so I'll talk more about that in my January wrap up. Let's quickly talk about the first book, Legend. There are some trigger warnings: murder, shooting, and human experimentation. So basically this book is about these two main characters named Day and June. Real quick, the United States of America is basically split in half. So we have the Republic and then the colonies. We live in the Republic. I want to say the Republic consists of like the west of the United States of America. The colonies is the east. We live in the Republic. We, as in like the two main characters, they live in the Republic. So Day is a criminal and then June is a soldier. In this book, something happened to June's older brother. That thing happened and the two main characters have to like not work together, but eventually they meet up. Where am I going with this? They meet, things happen, bad things happen today. I think that's all I have to say regarding the synopsis. I will say this is the most realistic dystopian series I've ever read in my life, and that is not a good thing whatsoever because what happened in this book, or like the entire series, really scares me because number one, it kind of shows how corrupt the Republic is. I mean, like obviously, and then also we have this plague virus storyline, and I got scared because as of right now we still have COVID, and of course everyone is, you know, supposed to be in quarantine, but Anyway, it's just so scary to see the parallels between this series and the real world right now, because I see it, okay? Like the fact that we have a plague in this, and then of course the characters, they're trying to find a vaccine, a cure. It was a whole lot. Like I got really scared. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed the very first book. I like the two main characters. I will say the romance I'm not a big fan of in this first book. My mind's changed in this one, but I'll talk more about that later. Yeah, the romance is not my favorite because I thought it was just so quick. When we were like on page 137, that is very specific, the two main characters are like making out, and I was like, what is going on? You guys just meet? Why are you kissing right now? And the next thing you know, so many bad things happen today, and this book really stressed me out. Prodigy, I want to say this is my least favorite book of the trilogy. I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Still not bad, but at the same time not as amazing as Legend in my opinion. Day and June, they're working for the Patriots. I cannot say much, so yeah, that's basically it. I will say regarding the romance between the two main characters, I like their romance towards the end of this book. Yeah, the ending is sad. The ending is so sad. Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that, but anyway, I give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I did finish the trilogy. I think I will, actually I will, let's just say it. I will read Rebel by Marie Lu because I just bought the book. I placed an order, so I'm definitely gonna read that book in January. So hopefully I will talk about Champion and Rebel in my January wrap-up video. So get excited for that. And now let's talk about Silver Spoon. So I have volume 12 and 13, but really I'm just gonna talk about volume 12 and how I did not finish this book because I have lost interest in the series. In my November wrap-up, I talk about how I'm gonna finish the entire series because I have like 4 volumes left. I couldn't even get through the 12th volume. Like that's how much I just don't care about the series anymore, and it makes me so sad because I'm like towards the end. That's it. That's all I have to say. I am no longer finishing the entire series, which is a shame to be honest. That was so dramatic. Oh my god. The last book that I finished in 2020 is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. There are a lot of trigger warnings for this book. Suicidal thoughts, talk of past suicide, panic attacks, abandonment, minor bullying, loss of a loved one, depression, and car crash. The main character is Eliza, and basically she is an author of this very well-known webcomic called Monstrous Sea, but the thing is her identity online is anonymous, so no one knows that she is actually the author of the webcomic. And then there is this new student at school named Wallace, and turns out he is a fan fiction writer of Monstrous Sea. Like he loves the webcomic, so he writes fan fiction for the webcomic, and then eventually Eliza and Wallace are friends, and you know, they become a couple later on in this book. So yeah, this book is happy and sad. I feel like a lot of people have talked about the mental health representation, and a lot of people have said that it's actually really good. Like the fact that the main character has anxiety, the fact that the love interest has selected mutism, I think that's how you say it. I think like the really sad part to me is this disconnection between the main character and her parents. Her parents can be a lot, but at the same time they're trying to like understand their daughter. They're trying to be supportive. However, Eliza doesn't tell them much. Like I feel like she keeps a lot of secrets from her parents, and that's why there's this huge disconnection. Is that the right word? There's this huge disconnect between all 3 characters, to be honest. This book, it was a roller coaster because it was so happy at the beginning of this book, I want to say, and then towards the middle and it just gets to like the sad territory. Like I was so sad and I was so scared for the main character, and I was crying so much in my room late at night. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's not my favorite book. However, I really appreciate this book, and I definitely understand why a lot of people really love this book. So those are all the books that I read in December. I am so tired because I've been sitting here for like an hour, and I feel like my voice is going away right now. So that's about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.